Climate change is a global challenge that affects every country, especially developing countries like Nigeria, with its impacts visible across all strata of national development. With the growing carbon emission due to industrialization and urbanization, it is important for the nation to adopt a just, equitable and inclusive climate change agenda, as well as sustainable financing to mitigate its daunting effects and enhance resilience of the country's ecosystem. This was part of positions reached at the second National Climate Change Conference held on Monday in Abuja. Let's now join Cleview's correspondent for details.
Climate change is a global challenge that affects every country, especially developing countries like Nigeria. Nigeria has experienced the effects of climate change in the forms of threatened agriculture and food security, floods and droughts, rising sea levels, and stressed ecosystems. From the rising sea levels in the south to desertification in the north, these key climate risks have disrupted the economic activities, livelihood, and social systems of the country. In response to these challenges, the federal government has been taking steps to address climate change through policies, regulations, and international agreements and efforts. However, the country's efforts haven't yielded the needed results due to a lack of adequate climate financing. Stakeholders in Nigeria's environmental sector say climate financing is critical in supporting Nigeria in its effort to mitigate and adapt to the effects of climate change. To this end, they have converged on Abuja for the second National Conference on Climate Change to brainstorm and map out strategies for sustainable climate change financing in Nigeria. In a message to the occasion, the Minister of State, Environment and Ecological Management, Dr. Ishaq Salako, said the conference is timely and essential as climate change poses an existential threat to the nation.
Addressing climate change is not solely an environmental concern. It is an economic, social, and moral imperative that demands coordinated and collective action. Distinguished participants, in the pursuit of a sustainable climate future, financing plays a pivotal role. We must explore avenues for mobilizing financial resources to implement mitigation and adaptation measures. These resources should be directed towards projects that not only reduce our carbon footprint, but also enhance the resilience of our communities and ecosystems.
Speaking earlier, the Executive Director, Corporate Accountability and Public Participation Africa, CAPA, Akimbode Oluwafemi, expressed concern over the plight of no fewer than 62 million people affected by the impact of climate change in the northern part of the country. He noted that these issues will accelerate in the coming years unless there is a more structured and organized climate financing in the country.
Unfortunately, climate financing in our country has relied exclusively on concessional debt. Grant and equity-based finance currently play very relative minimal role in the climate finance ecosystem. And our country continues to remain vulnerable. Efforts in adaptation and education are yet to be scaled up significantly to embrace our current realities. Nigeria, like every other country in sub-Saharan Africa, is classed as very, very vulnerable to climate risk. And this will accelerate over the coming years unless progress climate finance, well-structured loss and damage mechanism are institutionalized and appropriately and effectively managed.
Keynote speaker, Professor Lanre Fagbohun, and other speakers at the event emphasized the urgent need for a sustainable climate finance mechanism for Nigeria and Extension Africa.
Part of the solution that they are bringing to bear to resolve this issue is they will tell you resilience funds, resilience loan. Take it from IMF, take it from World Bank. A country that is already sinking, taking a loan with high interest rates, tell me, how will they come out of it? It is not about loans to take care of these problems. It is about grants to take care of these problems. Because at the end of the day, when you take these loans, you don't get out of them.
So we hope to participate in upcoming negotiations on issues of climate finance, nature-based solutions, carbon market mechanisms, but not on the aspect that Ken has talked about it, funding for loss and damage, and a common time frame for NDC implementation, equitable energy transition, as well as and this is in line with the key priority areas outlined by COP28 presidency.
Highlights of the event include panel discussions and interactive sessions among participants at the event.